Welcome to the Deep Dive. Our mission, well, it's pretty straightforward. We grab some interesting content, really dig in, and pull out the key insights for you. Today we're getting into an article by Brent Zeman called Unstoppable Morning Affirmation at 3:30 a.m. The main idea, it's all about the surprising impact of one specific morning affirmation, especially when you practice it consistently. Okay, let's unpack this.
Yeah, what jumps out right away is how focused Zeman is. It's this one single affirmation, just 4 words.
I am unstoppable today.
Exactly. And it's presented not just as, a nice thought,
Right.
but as a declaration, like you're actively stating how things are going to be.
I am unstoppable today. It's short, powerful. He really frames it like you're setting a powerful intention right at the start. What's the thinking behind that direct approach?
Well, think about it. How often does your inner voice maybe lean towards doubt or worry?
Pretty often for most people, I'd guess.
Yeah, exactly. So consciously saying something strong and positive, like I am unstoppable, acts as a kind of counter message. You're deliberately pointing your thoughts towards capability, right from the get-go. And that can really shift how you view challenges later in the day, makes them feel more manageable.
And then there's the timing he specifies, 3:30 a.m.
Yeah,
That's definitely early.
it is. He calls it a sacred hour.
A sacred hour. Why so specific? What's magic about 3:30 a.m.?
Well, Zeman's point seems to be about the quiet, the stillness. He suggests that at that time, before everything kicks off, before the emails and the noise, you get this unique window, a chance for real introspection, free from distraction.
Okay, so connecting with yourself before the world intrudes.
Yeah. And by starting with that affirmation, that quiet space, you're basically setting your own terms for the day, mentally prepping before everything else starts demanding your attention.
Like building a little mental fortress first thing. But he's also really strong on the consistency part, isn't he? Especially at 3:30 a.m. Why is doing it every day so important?
Consistency is, well, it's crucial for any habit, right? Especially for changing beliefs. Think of it like building a muscle. You don't lift weights once and expect results.
Right.
Repeating the affirmation daily, especially at that dedicated time, helps carve that mental pathway. It makes I am unstoppable feel less like something you're just saying and more like something that's becoming true for you. It builds momentum.
He also gets into this idea that words themselves have energy. Vessels of energy, I think he calls them, that they shape our reality. That sounds quite profound.
It is a strong statement. He uses that phrase to highlight the psychological weight our words carry. The language we use, especially our internal self-talk, isn't neutral. It triggers feelings, reinforces beliefs.
So positive words, positive energy.
Sort of. By consistently using empowering language like this affirmation, you're consciously directing your mental energy towards confidence, towards capability. It's like choosing the soundtrack for your own mind,
Choosing the soundtrack. I like that. And he talks about morning rituals not just being habits, but declarations. What's the distinction there? Habit versus declaration.
I think it comes down to intention. A habit can become automatic, something you just do.
Right, like brushing your teeth.
Exactly. But a declaration is active. It's a deliberate statement of purpose.
Yeah.
By calling this affirmation a declaration, Zeman is emphasizing that you're consciously taking charge, setting the stage for your day.
So it's about being proactive, not reactive.
Precisely. Starting your day aligned with your mission, rather than just responding to whatever pops up first.
And that early start, the 3:30 a.m. thing, it's not just for saying the words, is it? It's about creating space.
Yeah, that seems to be the broader idea. Waking up early, intentionally, carves out time not just for the affirmation, but for clarity, reflection, connecting with what he calls your inner power.
Inner power. So finding that resolve before the day's chaos hits.
That's the sense I get. Starting from a place of inner strength and focus before external stuff starts pulling you in different directions.
Okay, now, he also makes this really interesting point about change. That big transformations often come from lots of small, consistent actions, not huge, sudden leaps.
Yeah, that's a common theme in personal growth, isn't it?
It is. So how does this daily affirmation fit into that? Is it one of those small actions?
I think that's exactly how he positions it. The affirmation is that small, deliberate step you take every single day. It's about embodying that unstoppable feeling incrementally. It's not about waking up one day magically transformed.
Right.
It's the cumulative effect. Those daily repetitions build that unstoppable momentum over time.
And he argues that this consistency, this daily practice, actually builds self-trust. How does that work?
Well, every time you make that commitment, getting up, saying the words, especially when maybe you don't feel like it, you're sending a message to yourself
What message?
that you're reliable, that you follow through. You're
Yeah.
proving to yourself day by day that you can count on yourself to take positive steps.
Okay, so it's like building evidence for your own capability.
Exactly. And that foundation of self-trust is huge when it comes to facing bigger challenges or going after ambitious goals. If you trust yourself, you're more willing to try.
He also tackles fear and doubt head-on, calls them the greatest thieves of destiny. That's quite dramatic.
It is, but it highlights the impact he believes they have. He positions these positive affirmations, like "I am unstoppable," as a direct counterforce.
Like fighting fire with fire, or words with words.
Kind of, more like training your mind. Fear and doubt can be really loud, habitual thoughts. By consistently, deliberately focusing on a positive, empowering statement, you're essentially turning up the volume on a different station.
Making the positive voice louder than the fearful one.
Yeah, you're actively working to diminish the influence of that doubt, strengthening the belief in your own potential instead.
And he brings up small steps again later, but with a slightly different angle, saying that just focusing on one small action each day sends signals to your brain that change is actually happening.
Right, this taps into neuroplasticity, the idea that our brains can change based on experience. Each small intentional action, especially when backed by that affirmation, helps reinforce new pathways. It's like telling your brain, see, we are moving forward, we are capable.
So it's not just the action itself, but the message it sends internally.
Exactly. And Zeman suggests these small daily steps, fueled by the affirmation, create a ripple effect. They seem small individually, but together, consistently, they lead to profound transformation.
Okay, so if we pull all these threads together, Zeman's whole argument rests on how these pieces fit together, right?
Absolutely.
You've got the specific words, "I am unstoppable today." You've got the strict consistency, doing it daily. The early morning focus for quiet and intention, the idea of using positive self-talk, words as energy, and how all that fuels these small daily actions that build momentum.
That's a great summary. It's presented as a system, really. Each part reinforces the others. The early morning provides the space, the affirmation gives the focus, consistency builds the trust and momentum, positive self-talk fights the doubt.
And it all drives those small steps that lead to bigger change.
Precisely. It's a holistic approach to building that unstoppable feeling from the inside out.
So the core message from Brent Seaman's article isn't necessarily about literally becoming invincible overnight.
No, probably not.
It's more about this deliberate, conscious act, the morning affirmation, as a starting point, a catalyst for actively cultivating a mindset of capability and then backing it up with consistent small actions.
Yeah, that really seems to be the heart of it. Intentionality and consistency.
Which leads us to a final thought, maybe for you listening.
Yeah.
Whether or not getting up at 3:30 a.m. sounds appealing or even possible, consider the power of your own self-talk. What are the messages you're sending yourself throughout the day? That internal chatter we all have.
Yeah, that's a really important point. What's your default internal narrative?
Yeah. Exactly. And what might happen if you consciously chose, even in small ways, to weave in more empowering language, more self-affirming thoughts?
It makes you wonder, doesn't it, about the cumulative effect of the words you use with yourself day in and day out. Definitely something to think about.